Hello everybody, I am the Chubby Gourmet here in my pad in Panama. This will actually be the first episode that we cook a meal in this kitchen. So it should be interesting. It's a beautiful day. It's actually the start of summer here. Even though it's raining, you can't really tell it's the start of summer. It should be sunny, but there's plenty of sunny days coming, I can assure you. So without further ado, let's go to the Chubby kitchen and make some chubby foods. So today we're going to be cooking a dish that's extremely common, popular, and I also might add competitive for Western African countries. It's called jollof rice, and there are fierce competitions and pride with who makes the best jollof rice. There are literally many jollof festivals and jollof rice festivals throughout the world, throughout the United States. And in fact, there's one called the Jollof Festival. It changes its destination every year. This year is in Washington, D.C. The winners actually tied. It was a tie between Senegal and Sierra Leone. And then Ghana came in second, Liberia came in third, and Nigeria came in fourth, which is interesting because out of all the competition, it seems Nigeria and Ghana are probably the most fierce competition and the most national pride. But the joke's on them because I'll tell you a little secret, I make the best jollof rice. And I'll be proving that today. So without further ado, let's make it happen. Jollof rice is rice cooked in a tomatoey, peppery, spicy from the habanero peppers or Scotch bonnet peppers. I've got 2 of them that I'm chopping into this, which should be enough to give it enough heat and the delicious flavor, because habaneros are kind of like a fruity, hot, spicy pepper. They're actually very delicious. So I've got a red onion, 4 nice meaty tomatoes, and 2 bell peppers. These are going, and the 2 habaneros. These are going in the food processor, and I'm gonna make a puree out of this. I'm just gonna give you a heads up. The other red onion is diced because that's where I'm gonna start cooking. So this is gonna be cooked in plenty of olive oil, followed by the key ingredient in jollof rice, tomato paste. So I'm gonna brown the onions, and then with the tomato paste, I'm actually gonna brown the tomato paste. That is key in making jollof rice. But before we do that, I know this isn't very exciting. The rice itself, you don't want to be lazy about this. You want to rinse and get the starch out of the rice. Otherwise you'll get some soggy jollof rice. So I'm gonna actually rinse that first and put it aside because it's just so fun to do. So I've rinsed the rice 3 times, 3 or 4 times is ideal because you don't want all that starch. You want to rinse some of that off. Use long grain rice, by the way, if possible. Interesting fact, Ghanaian jollof rice, they use basmati rice, which it depends on taste. If you like basmati rice, it's certainly delicious, but Nigerian does not use basmati rice. It's all good, just wanted to point that out. So what I'm gonna do is make my puree first. And we're gonna go little by little. I normally just use a blender for this, but I wanted to use the food processor for efficiency. I love this little scraper. Bell pepper, tomato, red onion, and habanero. That'll put hair on your chest. I'm gonna try to ram it all in at once.
It smells good.
Yeah, and I haven't done anything except puree veggies. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. You smell that already? I haven't even added spice or anything. It's just vegetables. I'd say that's pretty pureed. Now we're gonna saute that diced onion. I've got my preheated pan, and I'm gonna add almost a half a cup. You need a lot of oil when you're doing jollof rice. Onion. So what we're gonna do, we're not gonna caramelize the onions, but we're gonna cook them good. Whip it good. And then the most major part of a jollof rice recipe. Once these are cooked, I'm not going to use this whole can of tomato paste, but maybe a little more than half to 3/4 of this tomato paste. And we're going to fry the tomato paste. Yes, fry the tomato paste. Sauteing a red onion in olive oil is a simple pleasure in life. They're starting to turn translucent, but not yet. So figure about 5 or 6 minutes. Saute these onions, and then tomato paste fries, which makes jollof rice. One of the many things I should say that makes it jollof rice. Ooh, so fragrant. Remember I mentioned I'm going to use a half to 3/4 of this can. Totally up to you and your personal taste. From me experience cooking jollof rice, that's what works best for me. Pan down, pan down.
I'm not chilly.
Yeah, I'm gonna fry this sucker. This is gonna cook a little bit more. I wanna really get a good fry on the paste. Then we're gonna add the puree of the veggies, and then we will season it. Now, some people would like a really burnt tomato paste. I mean, that's perfectly valid. It's up to you. I like somewhere in between. I don't like to overdo it, personally. It's cooking. You gotta do what you like. The puree. Give this a really good stir. Let's let that come up to temperature. Good things come to those who wait. I've got some sprigs of thyme because I love thyme, especially in jollof rice. I got a little extra. 3 bay leaves should be enough. I've got a little bit more. And I've got my spice mix and the bouillon. And we will season it at the end also if it needs a little more salt. But for now, that will do. Let that simmer. I just throw the sprigs of thyme in. You can certainly remove the little leaves if you really care to do that. A wee bit more salt, and I like using sea salt. Oh, that's a little spicy. Perfect. Perfection. I'm gonna let this come together another minute or two. Then the rice goes in. And we're gonna top off. I don't use water. Why use water when you can use a delicious stock and add another layer of flavor? So I'm gonna use chicken stock to level off mine. Then we're gonna lower it to a simmer and leave it for about 40 minutes. Not too much seasoning, just enough to bring out the vegetables, bring out the ingredients. Now we add the rice. By the way, in the description, I will put the spices that I use. It's basically salt, black pepper, ground coriander seed, garlic powder, and onion powder. And then there's, of course, there's the bay leaves and the thyme. Now we gotta make sure this is really stirred very well. Now I'm gonna add enough stock to just bring up to the surface of the rice. And that's how it's done. And you don't want to have too much stock because then you're going to wind up with very soggy rice. A little bit more. Let's live dangerously. So that's going to come down to a simmer, and then we're going to leave it for about 35-40 minutes. Then we're going to stir a couple of times as well. I know normally when you heat rice, you cook rice, you leave it the hell alone. I totally agree, but we're not simmering in water or just stock. We've got a thick tomato spice paste. So you really got to give it a little stir every so often. You don't spend a year and a day doing it. You stir, close it, and then that steam is what actually cooks the rice, right? Now we play the waiting game. Well, I took a gander before and it looks all done, cooked to perfection. And let's plate this baby. One thing to mention, it's normal, it's very normal in jollof rice for a little bit of the rice to get burned on the bottom. And from what I've heard, like in Nigeria or Ghana, for example, kids actually fight over eating the burnt jollof rice. Personally, I would not be a fan of it, but to each his own. Now keep in mind, we've got bay leaves, which you do not want to eat, and we got some of the sprigs from the thyme. And it's just rice. It can go with fish, chicken, red meat, you name it. It smells spicy and peppery. Actually cooked perfect. 45 minutes cooking time altogether. With 2 habaneros, there's a little spice, not too spicy. Could have thrown another one in. But again, that's personal. Whatever you enjoy, however you like it. Expect nothing less from the guy who makes the best jollof rice, which is me. Really came out delicious, if I do say so myself. So anyhow, there you go. Jollof rice. It's a West African specialty, very common. It's a staple of those countries that I mentioned earlier. So jollof rice, as you can see, it's delicious and very simple to make. It's not hard, very basic. So if you like what you see, please like, subscribe, click that notification bell so when we make delicious meals like this, you'll be notified. And you can learn all about cuisines from around the world. And we got more coming from Africa in the not too distant future. And we're also gonna be doing more cooking in this kitchen here in Panama. So we got some interesting episodes coming up. I don't wanna spill the frijoles, but some good stuff coming up very soon. I think you'll enjoy it. And until next time, hasta lasagna.